What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's talk about it in full. Now, you heard Joe Budden on his podcast talk about what happened with the Eminem situation. Royce the 5'9" did an interview about how Joe Budden was not loyal and just too critical and a little overcritical with the subject. And Royce and Joe, they spoke before, so when he came out and just said he was extra critical, you get to find out exactly what's wrong with Joe Budden right here. For people don't understand, and people just don't get it when we say you got to know about Joe Budden. And this is because people like, man, why you don't like Joe, man? Joe seemed to be honest. Joe is skewed because he's a pessimistic person. He's not a positive thinker at all. He thinks he's being positive, but he's not. He thinks sugarcoating is the same as giving constructive criticism. Right there, you should have known there was a situation or something wrong with him. Royce the 5'9" said, there's a way you do things. He said, I don't like every song that Eminem makes. But if we sit there, or he don't like every song that I make, but we'll sit there and point out what we like about the song, and then we'll try to talk about what works and what don't work. That's constructive criticism. That's the way you do. Artists are very sensitive about their work because they're putting their work out there. So if you're going to do something, that's not sugarcoating something. In case you want to know what sugarcoating really means, sugarcoating means I'm going to know if something's really bad and I'm going to give it to you the nicest way possible. That's not the same as constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is you're actually trying to find out what works in the song and trying to fix a situation. If something goes wrong, you give the positives and the negatives. But what you saying sugarcoating is basically just being delusional. That's an entirely different thing. Well, Johnny didn't. That fire, Johnny said, it's a little blown out of proportion. The wind carried the flames. And it's not really Johnny's fault. He came from a broken home. It's sugarcoating. A situation is a lot different than that perspective. I had no problem with what Joe Budden said about Eminem. But what Eminem might have taken it personal is when Joe used words like trash. It's straight trash. Even though it was the harshness of the words he chose that made the situation escalate to where Eminem would be like, that's disrespectful. And another artist would see it that way. Joe don't see it because he doesn't, it's just Joe to him. But the song is bad. And I don't think he understood, Royce did, because he pointed out the fact that Joe, saying that Eminem would probably use this record, to try to, use the black. He's like, he knows Eminem is not like that. So for him to even say that Eminem would use that angle to try to get the black audience, and he been around him and he know him isn't like that. He's like, that was like really over the line. And in Joe Budden's defense, he didn't say that. He said some people around him, that might have been their motivation, not Eminem's. So this is what happened when you have a lot of people who just get sound bites and clips and they don't hear things properly for themselves. And they run out and they make an interview based off that without hearing it in its totality. They look foolish. And in this estimation, that was wrong. But yet, Royce has put it out there in the public. So now the public's going to have Royce's soundbite and they're going to believe that's what Joe said. So that's just how this business works, unfortunately. And then you spend your time trying to defend yourself on what you didn't say. But Joe has to realize he made a mistake. But he doesn't agree with that. That would go against the Joe Budden principle. So with that being said, that concludes that. So hope I answered your questions. I'm out.